What's up, everybody? This is Brad, and well, here's some news. Apparently this has come completely out of left field. No one was expecting this, but here it is, an official tweet from Nintendo of America. Yes, I'm still calling it a tweet because Elon Musk sucks, but it says, "We have a message for fans of the Mushroom Kingdom. Please take a look." And then it reads as the following. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we will post at a future date. And then Charles comes in with the quote tweet saying, "My new adventure begins. You are all number one in my heart. Hashtag woohoo." So, the longtime voice of Mario for the games is now finally stepping down. And, it's a monumental moment. Charles has been, as Nintendo's message says, has been Mario since Super Mario 64. That was in 96. So, we're a few years short of Charles being Mario for 30 years. That's a long time. I'm 35, so Charles has been voicing Mario for a huge chunk of the time I've been on this earth. So, it's sad, it always is going to be sad when, somebody steps down from a role that you love. And it's kind of annoying, but I want to say, it doesn't appear there's any bad blood between Nintendo and Charles. Like we know Nintendo has recycled Charles's old audio from older games for newer games. Like you saw just how awkward the voice acting was for Mario Tennis Aces, and it was because it was all recycled stuff that wasn't recorded for that game. The scene at the beginning of the game where Luigi's been kidnapped and possessed by the evil tennis racket, and Mario looks up in the sky all sad, but then the voice you hear is an excited like Luigi. It's completely inappropriate for that scene, but it's because Nintendo didn't want to bring Charles in and pay him for a session. So, they do seem to want to keep him around, and he seems to be at least publicly, very happy about that. I've never heard Charles complain about voicing Mario. I've never heard him even voice I wish Nintendo would have brought me in to do Mario Tennis Aces. I've never heard him say anything bad about Nintendo. So I don't know. I've always heard him talk hey, I'm the voice of an iconic video game character. Not even an iconic video game character. I'm the video game character. There is no greater video game character than Mario in terms of of recognition and reputation, because the one of the reasons is the Mario games are fun and people love the colorful cast of characters. There's a good chunk of them are voiced by Charles too. So that's Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and I'm sure there are a few more in there that he's voiced. So there seems to be Charles Martinet and Nintendo seem to still be on the same page. So it's just kind of weird that he's stepping down, and it makes me think about how when Super Mario Brothers Wonder was revealed, and people were kind of skeptical of whether Charles was voicing Mario in that game or not. There appears to be no official confirmation, as far as I can see, that says that Charles is not in that game. But a lot of people were like, that it sounds like Mario, but it doesn't sound exactly the same. It sounds very close, but there's something different about it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of hear it, but at the same time, it could be Charles, because it's not recycled old Mario voiceover stuff. So maybe we're just not used to hearing some of this. And so, I thought that might be what it is. It's maybe it's a new game. Maybe Charles has taken a slightly different approach to how he voices Mario for this game because Mario's a little bit more expressive. There's a lot more cartooniness to Mario Wonder, and maybe they just tweaked Mario a little bit for that. I mean, it still sounds like Mario though. So I'm guessing that with this announcement, they will probably whenever this video with Miyamoto and Charles drops, I figure we'll probably be introduced to the new official Mario. And although I can't help but wonder if whoever takes over for Mario now is also going to take over for Wario and Waluigi, or if they're going to cast those characters to other people. Are they going to let Charles's replacement take over all of his roles? Or are they going to split them up and then bring in multiple people? I mean, I'm curious to see how they work and how many of the characters will retain that sound. Because, take Bugs Bunny, Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc's been gone for a long time now. But the people who have taken over that role since his passing have kind of tried to stay as close as possible to his portrayal of the character while, making it their own in a way. I mean, I think Eric Balza does great as Bugs. He's not Mel Blanc, but, there was only one Mel Blanc. The same way there's only one Charles Martinet. So you can't be Mel Blanc. You have to, Eric Balza can't be, Mel Blanc voicing Bugs Bunny. He's got to be Eric Balza voicing Bugs Bunny. So he's going to do it his own way. And so I'm wondering, and so I figure at least with Mario, they'll probably stick close to what has become iconic at this point. I don't know about like Wario and Waluigi and even Luigi himself. I figure they'll try that because they don't want to, like, certain characters just sound certain ways. And if you get too far away from how that character, originally sounded, then it's going to sound kind of off. Even in like the new Looney Tunes stuff, they still, most of the way that the characters sound is still mostly consistent with how they always have. And so I figure they won't try to change it up that much, if any at all. They'll keep it as close to how Charles played them as long as possible. At least I think that would be the best thing. That way you kind of honor Charles's performance and what he did for the character. Because like Mario was already kind of iconic, but since Mario 64 and games moving into 3D, video games kind of just exploded. And now like it's pretty much like the most profitable industry out there. But I just hope that it wasn't like somebody higher up in Nintendo deciding that it was just time to replace Charles. Like, he's over 70 years old. But like, I just hope it's not like, well, we know you can still do it, but we want somebody else now. Because that would suck. And it had me thinking, Peter Cullen has retired from voice acting, but he will still voice Optimus Prime. It's the one role that he's willing to, I guess not really come out of retirement for, but it's the one role he has not, stepped back from. He said he still is going to voice Optimus, and he is still Optimus. I mean, I know that they didn't use him in like the big movies, but somebody with Epic confirmed that it was Peter Cullen who was voicing Optimus for this current season of Fortnite. So Peter's still doing voice acting. So I'm curious as to whether or not this is going to be Charles stepping back from voicing the Mario characters is he fully retiring from voice acting, or is this just for the Mario characters? Is it just for his stuff involved with Nintendo? So, and I'm sure the video, I'm sure the special video that the Nintendo's going to drop it whenever this future date is. I like to hope it won't be too long from now, so that we'll know. Maybe it'll be next week or something. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll get some answers as to the reasoning for why it is. You know, like Charles was in the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie as Magenta, but so he was still doing other voice acting. He's not just doing Mario. So perhaps, like I haven't seen anything suggesting that he's like completely retiring. So I don't know. Like we don't really know enough to really say for sure. Don't really know anything other than he's just not going to be Mario anymore. But he's still going to be like doing like appearances on behalf of Nintendo as a Mario ambassador. So he's not going to just be just going out as just himself, Charles Martinet. No, he will be out as a representative of Nintendo, like in an official capacity. So he's still working with Nintendo. I don't know. It's kind of strange, but at the end of the day, he couldn't voice Mario forever, and so it's still sad. But like I said, almost 30 years as this character, as the most recognizable video game character. It was a long, nice run. He's been a part of, whether they paid him or not, you can hear Charles in some of the most iconic video games of all time, and some of those games are considered the best video games of all time. Super Mario 64 is one of my 2 top favorite video games ever. And I personally, I've always felt like Mario sounded the best in Mario 64. Like as this time went on, Mario's voice got a little bit higher. But I've always thought that was my favorite of how Mario sounded, was that original game. I mean, there's not much change to it over the years, but I just really like the way he sounded in Mario 64. So, I don't know how. Let me see how long this video is, but I don't want it to be too long. So I'll wrap things up here. I just want to say, thank you to Charles Martinet for bringing all these characters to life. Not just Mario, but Luigi and Mario and the rest too. And he seems like a very nice guy. He seems like he's beloved by pretty much everyone, and it's kind of funny as somebody who has gotten my feet wet in voice acting too. It's always funny to hear him tell the story of how he got the role of Mario and how he crashed an audition, which is like a huge dick move for an actor to pull. Like, you're not supposed to be there. Other people are, have scheduled to read for this part. You're not there. They're really not supposed to let you. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just sort of a rude sort of thing to do. It's not official. It's not like protocol. So it's unprofessional, as that's a word I see thrown around in the voice acting community a lot. But they let him read, and he said, I just had to make some split second decisions on how this character should sound, and I just started talking, and they literally had to stop him because they ran out of tape. And he said, they told him, said, well, don't call us, we'll call you. He said, that's the kiss of death for an actor. And he just went on about his business. He said, oh well. And turns out that was the one they wanted. So had he not crashed that audition and cut ahead of kind of, been a little bit of a jerk about this. I hate to say it that way, but I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's a violation of actor protocol. You're not supposed to crash an audition. It's just unprofessional, and everyone will tell you it's not a good thing to do. But that was how he booked this role. But apparently, nobody really cares that much about it because he's such a nice guy. He's a nice guy, seems to genuinely love what he does, and he loves that he's made this character, something that people have united around. People love Mario. and he's been able to spread a little bit of that joy, and he seems to be very happy that he's brought some joy to the world. And so I can't really blame anybody for not caring that he did technically crash that audition. But you know, I will definitely, like I said, I'm sure they'll try to stay as close to how Charles voiced him, probably forever, I would assume. The same way that, like I said, they handled the Looney Tunes, still sounding largely how they've always sounded. Um, but, you know, it's sad. It's still sad because, he seems to love voicing Mario so much. But, you know, I don't really have anything else to say. So, thank you, Charles. As a big fan, a big Mario fan, big, just been playing Mario games my whole life, and he was a big part of the appeal of Mario. I think it wasn't just the Mario games, not just Mario himself. People love Charles, so sad to see him go, but he seems to be looking forward to this role as ambassador. We don't know what that will be, other than just basically being a Mario cheerleader of sorts. I would hope it's on Nintendo's payroll. So even if he's not doing voiceover, they owe it to him at this point. If they're gonna recycle all those old lines to get out of paying for him to come into the booth and record new stuff for him, then they could pay him to be the ambassador and to make appearances and just go talk about how much he loves Mario. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for listening, and let me know what your favorite Mario game was that Charles voiced in. Was it Mario 64 like it is mine, like one of my favorite games, or like I absolutely loved Mario Odyssey. I think that was the Mario Odyssey was the closest of any of the main Mario sequels to feel like Mario 64 to me. But let me know in the comments what your favorite Charles role was, or favorite Mario game, and we'll see what happens. We'll talk about what Charles's role with Nintendo will be after this new video comes out. And like I said, I assume that this will be when we're introduced to the official new voice of Mario. And that's all I got. Appreciate you for watching. I'm out of here.